Hello Internet, James Allen from Out of 8, and today I'm playing turn-based sci-fi 4X strategy game The Viceroy. In it you lead a civilization from a crisis that they have incurred by enacting policies and constructing buildings. I'm going to create a new game. When you start, you can choose one of 6 different setups, which defines who your upper, middle, and lower class cultures are, and which technologies to start with. As you can see over here on the right, each culture is adept at a different part of industry, either biological, industrial, or cultural, and that's basically what the differences are here. So I'm going to choose, I like to have industrial biological, which is this one right here.
This is the Commonwealth's regional administrative.
First thing you have to do is you have these little points you can spend on things. Now it's very important to have your fleet quickly constructed, which is why I'm going to spend most of my points on the fleet. And then you can also do it in other areas. I'm going to do a couple in industrial and probably one in science. And then I'll leave the other one to lower my bureaucracy. And then you click the portal. And here you go. So what the challenge is in this particular system is an economic collapse. You can see all of the bad things that have happened in this region. So most of them are affected by these top 3. So what you can do is you can go around and do a couple things. First thing you can do is you have all these technology points you can use to research things. And kind of what you want to do is research all the things that have these yellow definition things here, because those are the ones that will solve the problems of your planet. So I'm going to basically do all of these ones here. Let's do that. And you can see that as you enact more ones, the next one costs more and more. So I'll probably only be able to do... Oh, I can do 2 more, so we'll do those 2 right there. So that'll solve a number of my problems by basically constructing things. So, here's my system. I have 3 stars. Inside of each star, there are a number of planets, and inside each planet are a number of districts. So what you do first off, and this is probably the most tedious part of the game, and then after you're done with it, you can kind of leave it alone, is you have to move some of your, well, you don't have to, but move some of your population from unspecialized to specialized. The reason why you would do that is because of certain modifiers on each district, they can actually produce more as a specialist. So as you click through here, you can see if I move them to cultural, that will give them higher production than if they produce all 3 things equally. Because it's cultural, I want to move my cultural people down, which are these guys right here, the panarchy. And then that'll lead to more production there. So basically what I'm going to do is anywhere there's a 2 or more multiplier, and none of the rest of them are, it's a good idea to move them. So that's it for the first planet. And then we'll do the same thing for the second planet. And there's nothing there either. So that's it for first world, the first star. So we'll pick the next solar system up here. And as you can see, this is kind of, well, it's not kind of, it is tedious and honestly not very enjoyable to kind of get these all defined the way that you want them to. And you basically have to start every new game the same way. There's industrial, so I want to move some imperials that I don't have, so I'm going to kind of split a couple. I don't have any of those guys. There's a couple more, so we'll just kind of split there. We'll go to the third world and do the same thing. Nope. Go to the fourth world and do the same thing. Nope. Go to the 5th world and do the same thing. I can't imagine why you would want to play with more sectors. This is the smallest map when you start out. Basically what you can do is when you have progressed far enough in this campaign, you can cash in your influence, which is earned by doing good stuff and improving the solar systems, to get better starting stats, which is that first screen that I showed off. I've got only 2 planets here. Let's see what we got. not much. Oh, there's 2 there for biological, so we'll pull both of those guys in. Alright, let's go to the second. Yep, same. Oh, we got a lot of guys here too. Alright, and that is it. I am done allocating my population. So next thing to do is you can set some policies. You can adjust the tax rate. I'm going to raise the tax rate and raise fleet spending. Because the most important thing to have happen is you got to get military up before all of the rebels take over. So that's what I'm going to do. That's kind of the first thing. You can also set these policies. So I'm going to double the fleet capacity. You can get more population growth with more overhead. It's not really worth it. Less sign. More science capacity with overhead. Not really worth it. And balance between wealth level and income. Again, most of these, the balances aren't really worth doing it. Now, here's my fleet. You notice my current capacity is only 10 million, so I can't actually afford anything. The smallest ships are 100 million. Although my maximum capacity is 1 billion. So what happens is it slowly grows over time, and you'll eventually be able to afford really big ships. And you need that to grow very quickly because the rebels are going to be coming in pretty quickly. Now, each of these little icons up here are neighbors. What you do is they give you bonuses for achieving certain levels in your solar system. So you can see here, this particular one will give me return on investment bonuses if I increase my scientific territory, my industrial and scientific outputs, which again are things that just kind of happen naturally over time as you build stuff. Speaking of building stuff, you'll have these 2 objectives going on at any certain particular time, and it's really suggested to do what they suggest. And as I found out after playing for 6 hours, if you left click, it'll take you to the first planet district, and if you right click, it'll take you to the second planet district. I was remembering what the improvement was and clicking through all the districts and stuff, and it was a big gigantic pain. But this is less of a pain. So the first thing it wants me to do is frictionless highways. So here's frictionless highways. It decreases the trade cost, which is a good thing to do. So you just drag and drop it, and that's it. And then we'll do the same with the superscalar towers. So where is that? There it is. So that increases the crowding limit. And there you go. And that'll be built for next turn. Now you can do more than that as long as you have the credits. But you won't gain influence as directly as you would by doing just simply what they say down there in the objective list. So we're going to go to the next turn. There we go. Our income has gone up. They congratulate us for getting both of those objectives complete, which gives us 2 influence. It gives us 2 new objectives. And all these crowding things are now affected, and the wealth is affected by the decisions that I made or choose not to make in the last turn. Now, what I found by playing is basically what you want to do is just do what the objectives are unless it's completely useless to do it in that particular district. There's no way that I've found of saying, no, I won't do this objective, so it's basically it'll just be stuck there forever. But I find that they're a good guide to figuring out really what to build, because there's so many districts and so many planets that you can choose from. It's kind of hard to figure out what you want to build where. Now my technology, now I have a negative balance, and it's going to be quite a long time before I'm able to afford another upgrade. Malinvestment. We'll try that. So here it is for 1 billion. It removes the penalty, so that's good. And then frictionless highways, which we already saw. And that's the turn. So, I mean, this is basically what you do. Now, once I'm able to build a fleet, which I'm not able to yet, probably another turn or 2, then you can move fleets around and I'll show off a battle. But this is really it. You really just build these policies. So, you know, you can go to any of these districts. There's policies for the districts. So I could cure malinvestment here if I wanted to. Then you can step back to the planet and do planet-wide thing, so I could do that too if I wanted to. And it uses up these credits. And then there's also planet-wide things. Once you can afford it, it's really kind of large cost. Yeah, and then that's basically the game. So colonial office. Yeah, cultural productivity. That's good. And that's up here in general. That's not for the specialist modifier, so it's good to keep these people up there still. And superconductive grid. There we go. So that'll make it ×1, which is still not even really worth it. There's my rebels. Hopefully I can afford... Nope, I can't afford a ship yet. So again, I've basically maxed it out, but I need 100. And really you need 2 ships. So what I'm hoping is that I don't lose by the time... let me increase this. I need to get this ship up. Because once you get enough rebel fleets, then the game's over, and you have to leave this system. So that's really the only thing, is you really need to get fleets up quick. Okay, we still have that one. Yeah, I'm up to 158, so I need to wait one more turn. Yeah, and there's my second rebel fleet. But I can make my fleet, so we're going to drag a couple ships. And there we go, there's my fleet. So now I need to go start attacking people, so let's see, where is he? He's here, so I'm going to simply left-click and send him to there, and then he'll take on that fleet. And then really it's just shuttling them back and forth and building stuff. Landed something or other. +5, sure. And colonial office. Alright. So here's your battle. I'll show the battle here. Battles are pretty dumb because all you do is position the ships. Left click to move and right click to change their facing. And then it doesn't, and then it just auto resolves it. So okay. So really kind of dumb. You know, you can't left click. You can, you know, see their ranges and stuff, but you can't give them orders or anything. You know, better win the battle. Dumb ship went in the wrong direction. So again, there's no real reason to command any of these battles. You better win. Turn around and shoot him, dummy. Ugh, idiots. I should have just auto-resolved it. You guys are idiots. Idiots. Well, now I'm going to lose. We had twice as many ships and they lost. Ugh. Anyway. I really want rate of return. Self-aware economy. Industrial productivity. Yep, and I'm gonna lose. I have enough for one ship, which isn't gonna do a whole lot. Yeah, there he is. Permanent debts. Yeah, just auto-resolve. Yeah, see, I lost. Because my dumb ships. And that's it. That's it for this system. So I came away with 12 influence. So what I can do is go back to my palace and grant the independence of the system, and then use my influence on a new system. So, yay! I increased their income and tech. But I got, you know, destroyed on that. So now I get a couple more points that I can assign here. And then you start a new system. So same sort of thing. I'm not going to go through the tedious process of assigning everything again. And that's it. That's the Viceroy. It definitely has unique game mechanics, but those mechanics are very limited. Other than adjusting your population on each of the planets, in each of the districts, which is quite honestly a very tedious process, and enacting projects over here for each district or planet or system. That's it. You know, you'll adjust your policy, your tax rates every once in a while. You'll, when you can afford it, build up a fleet and then send those fleets places, but there's no reason to not auto-resolve the battles. And the game is just very repetitive. You just do your 2 objectives every turn unless they're completely idiotic. You can do some more policies if you want, but you might run out of money. And then you just do the same stuff when you start a new system. So I like the idea of the Viceroy. It is definitely a different take on the 4X game. It's just not very fun to play, and it's very repetitive. So that's all I have for today. Until next time, bye now.